Hi, Laura again from Front Office Rocks, another YouTube video, and I want to talk about patient accounts and getting patients to pay their balances. We have a live event coming up very soon where we're going to dive deep into insurances and patient accounts and really start to break down where balances come from, how to do better estimates, how to know what the insurance is going to cover and not cover, and that's awesome. But I want to flip to the other side while I was preparing for this live event that we're having, this workshop seminar, to talk about what I think is an issue when it comes to actually collecting from our patients. So we do our best in the dental office to estimate correctly, to get their insurance breakdown, to figure out what the patients are going to have to pay or what we estimate the insurance will pay and what the balance will be for our patients. But it's not always right. In fact, a lot of times it's not right for many reasons, right? Maybe we estimated wrong, maybe the insurance gave us wrong information, whatever. So here's the thing, we're gonna always have to try to collect that balance after the fact with the patients. And patients, think about it, if you were a patient or a customer of another business, if you were to find out after you paid for something that you actually owed more, they're not gonna be thrilled with that. It's a hard conversation to have. I mean, imagine, let's say if you went to, I don't know, a store and you bought a new outfit. You go to the register and they say, okay, you're out of pocket, it's $54, okay? So you pay for it. And then you get a bill in the mail like 3 weeks later and says, oh, we were wrong. It was actually $64. You owe us $10. Now I know that's kind of humorous, but that's sort of what happens. Our patients come in and no matter what we say to them, it's just an estimate. We can't guarantee what your insurance is gonna pay. They hear $54. When they get a bill in the mail later for $10, some patients, $10 is a lot of money and they're not happy about it. So this topic or this video isn't about insurance and how to estimate correctly and get all the ins and outs of that. We're going to go into a lot of that in our live events, and we have a lot of that on Front Office Rocks. But I do want to talk about one of the issues I see in dental offices when it comes to the back end, like when the patient owes the money, how we handle it incorrectly. And the number one thing that I see that happens incorrectly in the dental office is we actually don't know why the patient owes a balance. And what I mean by that is, let's say for this example that I had, we told them $54, they paid $54, now they have a $10 balance. We enter the insurance information in, we enter the payment in, and the balance comes out $10. So the patient comes into the practice, let's say for their cleaning, and we're like, oh, by the way, you owe $10. So the receptionist at the front says you owe $10. And the patient goes, why? And the receptionist doesn't know because the receptionist doesn't do insurance. The receptionist isn't the one who entered the insurance. So the receptionist looks at the account, and guesses. It's probably the deductible. I think that it was your deductible didn't apply to the last appointment. And the patient says, okay, well, let me go get my cleaning and then I'll take care of the balance on the way out. Patient goes back to get their cleaning. Patient says to the hygienist, I'm surprised I have a $10 balance from last time. I thought my insurance covered everything. And the hygienist looks in there and doesn't really know why the patient has a balance and says, you know what? It's probably because of the fluoride. We put fluoride on there and you're an adult and your insurance doesn't always cover it. It's probably the fluoride. Patient goes, okay, that's weird. I just heard it's a deductible, but okay, well, I'll talk to him on the way out. So then the patient comes up front, or back to maybe the person checking the patient out, and they say, and we have to collect your balance of $10. And the patient goes, well, I don't understand why I have a balance. I was told up front it was one thing, the hygienist told me something else. And so the person checking out looks at it and goes, oh, you know what it is? It's because your wife had the balance, the $10 before. So your patient accounts are connected. There's $10 from your wife's account. At this point, the patient's gonna say, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Like, I've heard 3 different reasons why I owe $10. You know what I'm gonna do is, why don't you guys figure it out? Why don't you get the real story as to why I owe $10 and then reach out to me and I'll pay it. And the patient leaves and doesn't pay. Now, I know in this example, it may not be 100% correct. Maybe $10 isn't his wife's or whatever. But the point here is we need to know what we're talking about. We need to understand why the patient has a balance, because think about it from the patient's perspective. If I go into a business and they can't tell me what something costs and why I have a balance and the reason there's an unexpected balance, am I willing to pay that balance, and am I going to be happy about it, right? Now, in my example, we're only talking about $10. So you might think, whatever, that's fine. But what if it's $500? What if it's $250? Then the patient's going to really want to know, why do I have a balance? So it's my suggestion that anytime a patient ends up with a balance in your practice, we hope it doesn't happen, but when it does, know why there's a balance. Put the notes in there. Have everybody on your team be clear about what the balance is from, because understand the patient's perspective. They're not going to be happy about it. I wouldn't be happy about it. We owe money we weren't expecting, but it's going to be worse if we don't actually know why they have the balance. So make sure your team's on the same page to try to make the painful experience of having an unexpected balance at least go as smoothly as possible. So, and again, reach out to us at Front Office Rocks. We have tons of training on this. We have an insurance mastery program. If you watch this in time and you can make it to one of our live events, we would love for you to come join us on one of our live events. But just know that there are ways to make sure that you know where the balance is coming from. And if you can't answer that question, find out before you actually try to collect from your patient. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. I hope you have no patients today with unexpected balances, but if you do, I hope this helps. Please subscribe below if you want to stay up to speed when we add new videos, and I appreciate your few minutes today. Have an amazing day.